In this video, I'm going to show you how I would place the views and the dimensions for Flange 1105 project. So I've opened up a 17 by 11 prototype inventor drawing, and now I'm going to add the views. So I'm going to come up here to base, and the view I want to look for is the front view of my Flange 1105. So of course, if I don't see Flange 1105, I'm going to have to come up here and go find, let's see where it would be, my Flange 1105 drawing right here, and pick open and place that in. So, but obviously it's putting that in. So that looks good. It's just that the scale's a little large. So I'm going to say 0.5 for my scale and select OK. All right, so there's going to be my front view. Now, there's a lot of interior detail going on in this, and so I think the best way to dimension this is to place my right side view and my top view as section views. So I'm going to use the section option here, and I'm going to move in here. I'm going to let it snap to that midpoint right there, and then I'm going to move out, and I'm going to move outside the edges of this flange a little ways and pick. And then I'm going to go back through, and I want to make sure that I'm getting a horizontal line, and I want to go beyond the right edge a little, about the same distance as I did on the left edge, and pick. And then I'm going to right click and pick continue. And I want to come up into here and place this top view. It's going to be a section view. I don't want it to have all of this text on here. So I can actually double click on that text and just delete all of that out and pick OK. Let's see what else I can do. I want to take this AA out. So let's see if it's on this view where I need to take it out. Sometimes you have to do it on the section view. Let's see where it's located. There it is. So I want to put a space in there. So I need a placeholder and pick like that, and that takes the AA out. And then I can move this down a little bit, and I'll probably pull this one down a little bit, maybe move them more into there. I'll do another section view, and this time I'm not going to pick on that midpoint, but I want to sort of park there and capture it and snap from that point, and then come straight back down, and I'm going to pick again. This is where my arrowhead will be on my cutting plane line. I don't want to be at an angle. I want to make sure it's perfectly vertical. So I'm going to pick there and right click and pick continue. And again, I can just put a space in there for that. I'm going to move out over into here and pick and double click on that. I don't need all this text in there, and delete and pick OK. Now, the reason I don't need all of that is because whenever you're making a section view and you're placing the section view directly in line, like it's just a top view or a right side view like that, it's pretty clear what's going on to anybody reading this drawing. And so that's how I would do that. Now, because I've done a section view, I can dimension to a lot of the stuff in here that otherwise might be difficult to dimension to, and I can dimension in here to things. And so let's just look over here in the right side view at some of the dimensions we might put on here. You might go to annotate here and pick dimension and pick on this top, and it may or may not let you select that entire thing. So if you pick here and you pick here and you come up, we can dimension the diameter of this guy, and I'm going to pick on that and press escape because I need to double click and I need to go to text, and in front of that I need to say 2 times, so the 2x, and then I need a diameter symbol and pick OK, because what I'm giving is the diameter of this cylinder right here. And ASME says I should do that over here on a side view of that cylinder. Another dimension I can put on here would be from this corner to the center of that hole, and place that out there like that. And I could pick another dimension and go from this corner to this corner and snap out here on a snap point like that. And so I could highlight both of those dimensions on my sketch, or actually all three of those dimensions now on my sketch. Now some things I need to add to this are I need a center line bisector for the hole that goes through here, and I need a center line bisector for this hole here. Let me undo that for just a second, see if I sometimes when you pick on those green dots when you're doing a center line, see what it does. Yeah, it'll bring that out a little bit. And I do have a center line there. When I bring it out, maybe I can get it to show up eventually. It may give me a hard time. I'm going to drag this guy down too. And I want to right click on this and just check my settings for my edit center mark style. So I've right clicked on this. It takes a second for that to come up. There's part of my problem is the settings are very large. So for the mark, I'm going to set that to 0.1 inches for the gap right in here in B. I'm going to set that to 0.05. And everything else looks good. I'm going to pick save and close. And now I can see the lines in there, and I can even bring that back a little bit where I just have that one gap in there like that. I would also want to have a center line for these holes here, so I can pick on both of those. And actually, because the center of that is coaxial for both holes, I could just stretch this all the way through if I want. And I want to extend those up about 1/4 inch past the edge. All right, so that looks pretty good. So I've got all my center marks in. Over here on this view, probably what I would go for is I would go from this side of that cylinder to this side of the cylinder and then move up into here. And you can see it tells me a diameter of 3 on that, which is one of the dimensions I need. And another dimension I would probably put on this would be from this corner to there and move out into here and pick. And I would double click on that, put a cursor in front of that and type 2x and a space and pick OK. But you know, one of the things you'll notice is there's a leading 0 on this. And because this is dimensioned using inches, you shouldn't have the leading 0 on anything less than 1 inch. So I'm going to right click on, actually going to escape first and then right click on that and go to Edit Dimension Style. And I'm going to turn off that leading 0 there. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck leading zeros and pick save and close, and that takes that out. Now, just like on the other drawing, I need center line bisectors for these holes that I have here. All right. And just like before, I'm going to stretch those down all the way through my part like that. So those will appear to be center lines. And I need a hole node on this. I'm going to go to hole and thread, and I'm going to pick on this hole right here. And I'm going to bring it out in this direction right there. And I'm going to press escape. I'm going to double click on that. I'm actually going to uncheck use default. And I'm going to say that the depth is 1.75. Now, what that does is it takes it through to the center of the hole, no deeper than that, but just to the center of the hole, so I can pick OK on that. So I have a diameter of 1.5 and a depth of 1.75. All right, so the next thing that I want to put on here are a couple of GD&T things. And so the first one is I want to put a datum for datum A on the bottom right here. So I'm going to go up here and find my datum identifier right here. I'm going to pick on this edge and move down. I'm going to place it right there to start. Keep it at A and pick OK. Press escape. Then I'm going to pick right there and drag that and straighten it out, and then I can shorten it right here. Now, if I want, I could drag that out over into here, for example. I don't want to line it up with that dimension, but I want to pull it out to the side if I'm going to put it there, or I can just put it along this line. It interprets the same way. I need a feature control frame, so I'm going to pick on this and move over and pick and right click and pick continue. The symbol on this one is flatness, and what I want it to be is 0.005, and I don't need a datum for flatness, so I'll pick OK and press escape. Now once you look at that, I also have a leading 0, and look how large that is. So I need to go in and make some changes on this, so I'm going to right click on it and go to edit feature control frame style. And when this opens up, I don't know why it's so slow, but it always is. If I go to units and I uncheck leading zeros, that's going to take that out. I'm going to go back to general, and right now the symbol size is based on the text height. And so what I need to do is go edit my text height to fix all of this. So I'm going to pick on this pencil right there and pick yes, save the edits. And I want this to be set to 0.125 because that's the height of my dimension text. And that should be good. And if I pick save and close, that changes the size of that. So, and also now the text in here matches the text of my dimensions, and there's no longer a leading 0 on here. And don't forget to save this drawing, as my real reminders popping up right up here. And I want another feature control frame, and this time I'm just going to pick and then immediately right click and pick continue because I don't need a leader on this. This one is going to be parallel, and what I want this to say in here is it has to say diameter 0.028 relative to capital A, or datum A. I won't have a B because what we're controlling is the parallelism of the center axis of this hole right here relative to B. And so the center axis of this hole, our 1.5 inch diameter hole, needs to run through a cylindrical tolerance zone that has a diameter of 0.028, and that the cylindrical tolerance zone is perfectly parallel to datum plane A. All right, so I'm going to pick OK and press escape. Now when I go up onto that feature control frame, you can see that dot, and I just want to move that dot and line it up right below this thread or this whole note that I have right there. Okay, so now I can go through and I'm going to highlight all of that stuff. So I've got all of this stuff done, and so now I need to focus on the top view, place my notes, and I should be done. One thing I do also want to do on here is place an isometric view, and I'm going to project that. Let me go to place view and project off of this view here. I'm going to place that right up in here, and I'm going to right click and create. I'm going to double click on that and make a couple of changes to it. I'm going to make it 0.33 scale, which is 1/3 scale. You could type 1 = 3 if you want to. Let's see what we do. 1 = 3 for our scale. I want it to be shaded, and under display I want to turn off the tangent edges. So we're going to turn off some of these extra lines we have in here, and I'll pick OK. And that's what I want this to look like. And I'll come back later and add a note that says the scale is 1:3, or I'll put a note down here saying that my isometric scale is 1:3. Okay, so up here we need a few dimensions. One of the first things we ought to do is put a center mark in this pattern that we have right here. And so if we go to annotate and we pick on center mark, it asks us to select the center of the centered pattern, and you could pick on this cylinder here, this circle here, or this circle here, either one, because they have the same center. So I'm going to pick on that, and then I'm going to pick inside this hole, inside that hole. I'm just going to pick in each one of those, keep moving my way around, and I'm going to come all the way back to this one and pick again, and then right click and choose create. And so that places all of those center marks in there. Now I want to show you something. You You see, this center mark right here is running through this center, so I don't have any breaks around this. So what I would do to fix that is drag this center mark here back. So let me get on, see if I can find these center marks, like, come on, see if it'll let, there it is. Drag that back and drag this one back so it's below that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is use the center mark just for the smaller hole, and I'm going to drag it out about 1/4 inch. And I'm going to do the same thing here and drag that out about 1/4 inch, because we want to have 4 distinct gaps around each one of these center marks. And you have to remember these holes are fairly small. This is a 0.31 diameter hole, and so our center marks have to be fairly small in order for us to get that to show up like that. All right, so next thing we want to do is to go ahead and put some dimensions on this guy. And one of the first ones I'm going to put would be, don't remember if I made these with holes. I'm going to pick on hole, and I'm going to pick on this hole right here. Yeah, it looks like that's what I did. Put that guy right there, press escape, double click on it, and uncheck use default. And what I want this to say, I don't need it to say through, so I'm going to back off through, but in front of it, I need to say 12x, because there's actually 12 of those holes, because there's 6 in the top flange and 6 in the bottom. I'm going to pick OK, so that should say 12 times diameter 31. I would highlight that. And then also I need a dimension for this hole that I have right here. I could have put that dimension from here to here on this hole, but I think I'll just use a regular dimension for that. I'm going to pick right here and move out into here, and I want to right click and go to dimension type. Before I pick on that, I want to right click and go to dimension type and pick diameter. So I haven't actually placed that yet, but I'm going to bring it, I guess like right in here, because I don't want to crowd what I have going on in here. And let me press escape. So I may move this out and up a little bit like that. And I'll do some fine tuning here in a minute anyhow. So I'm going to highlight that diameter 2. Another dimension that I need to place in here would be from the center mark to this corner here. And I'm going to bring that out. I can actually put that on either side, but I think I'm going to place it about right here. All right. Now, one of the things that I don't like to have in here is a gap. And so let me press escape. There's a couple of ways you can approach that. You can take this center mark you have right here and bring it out like that, that's a good way to fill the gap. This one didn't have a gap in it, so I would highlight that one as well. And another dimension I need on this is actually going to be a diameter dimension. That would be from here to here. I'm going to bring that guy down and let it snap, find its snap point, and press escape. Double click on that and put my cursor in front. You need to add a diameter symbol in front of that one, because it is the diameter that we're seeing right here of this cylinder. So we're dimensioning all those cylinders in the side view. All right, so we need a dimension for the angle between all of these holes right here. So I'm going to pick on this line, and I'm going to pick on this center line and move out here like this. And I want to come out a little ways and pick. And then I'm going to press escape, and I'm going to double click on this, go to precision and tolerance, and this needs to be a basic dimension of 60. And then go back to text and put my cursor in the front and type 12 capital X and a space. Oh, didn't get it in there. There we go, 12 capital X and a space. Now, what it's probably going to do is pull this 12X inside the box, and I'll have to fix that if it does. Oh, it didn't. That's good. If your 12X goes inside there, what you need to do is right click and go to Edit Dimension Style. Let's see what happens here. Takes a second to open. If you go to Tolerances, what you want to do here is you want to choose on the one that says prefix and suffix outside. So the prefix in this case is the 12x, and I want that to be outside of the diameter 60. And so that's the way mine is set right now, but you may have to go in and set that. So you'll just pick on tolerance and pick on this drop down menu and pick prefix suffix outside. All right, so I'm going to highlight that and the 2.50. And the next thing I need to do is I need to dimension the diameter of this bolt circle right here. So I'm going to do a dimension. I'm going to pick on that and move out here. And that is actually going to be a basic dimension. But first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pick right here. And I'm going to right click on that. Let's see, that look. I'm going to just pick OK. Now I'm going to right click on that and go to options, and what I want under my options is leader from the center, and I don't want just a single dimension line, so I have to right click again and I have to go to options and I have to uncheck single dimension line. All right, so now we see that dimension and the arrowhead going all the way through. I want this arrowhead to be clear down in here, and see if I turn it at that angle, it gets mixed in with a bunch of other lines and stuff down here. And so the best deal would be to move it up like into here. Okay. Then I'm going to double click on that, and in front of that, I'm going to write 2x. See if I can get that in front of it. Right, 2 capital X and a space. And this also needs to be basic. So I'm going to go pick on basic. So now it's placed inside a rectangle like that, and choose OK. And I should probably move this a little bit. I think I can drag it out. Maybe let's see if I can drag it out just a little bit. I want to extend that landing so that it matches the other landings that I have. Okay, let me bring that up. So I'm just trying to kind of line stuff up and make it look better. On the center marks for these holes right here, if you want to drag those in, you can do that. And you may not go all the way to the center mark, but that helps you understand, you know, how they radiate out. We want to make sure these are coming out a quarter of an inch or so. So, you know, these are not bad already, but here's something that I don't like though. I don't want to have a gap here and a gap here in these dimension lines. So this is another opportunity to take this dimension line, let me get on this guy again, and drag it out. Looks like I need to do an undo. I got that line moved a little bit. There we go, back to 60. I want to get this line, oh, come on. I want to get that line and drag it out so it fills in that gap. And I want to get this one and drag it out as well so it fills the gap in. And I'd want to be sure and save everything that I have at this point. So I'd probably come in and do a little bit of fine tuning and make sure that all my spacing is consistent from one view to the next. And then down in here we still need to add a note, and the notes are going to be mild steel on that. So let's caps lock mild steel. 3 would be UOS unless otherwise specified, fillets and rounds. I'm going to put a R for radius 0.125. And then the fourth note we could put in here, and they don't have to be in this order necessarily, UOS unless otherwise specified. Chamfers are 0.125 by the space 0.125. All right, and so I've got fillets and rounds are R.125, chamfers 0.125 by 0.125. So I'm going to pick OK on this. And so this is my chamfer. You see that chamfer that comes in right here, and that's what we're seeing over here. And that's actually noted on this drawing. Let me find this drawing. Apologize for this. There we go. We have a chamfer right there for this guy. And then we also have rounds or 0.125 typical. And so this corner is rounded here. This inside corner is rounded. So this has a fillet here. This has a fillet here. And then all around this cylinder here, it's filleted. It is not filleted on the top edge, and it's not filleted on the bottom edge. So those are sharp edges. So we're going to go back so I can see there's my fillet here and a fillet there and so on like that. So those are my fillets, but not the bottom. These should be a sharp corner here, 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner on the top. And all those fillets will show up over here on the right side because they're modeled like that up here on the model. Now, remember that if you ever find a problem on the drawing, let's say that you left off one of those fillets or something, the way to fix it is to go over to the tree and go find your model in the tree. We can see Flange 1105 2019 IPT. That's the name of this model. What you would do is right-click on that and pick Open. And it will open up your model, and then any changes you need to make should be made on this model, and then you would save the model. And when you do that, then this drawing should update automatically when you save it. Okay, so we still need to fill out the title block, and so we would go up here to our A&E CAD title block, double click on field text, and then start filling in, you know, the drawing title and all that kind of stuff that we have in here. Be sure and center the drawing title, so you may have to put a few spaces on here. But anyway, this would be Flange 1105. And the scale is 1:2. And one thing that you need to pay attention to down here is the sheet number. This is a one sheet drawing. So this would be sheet 1 of 1. So it's one sheet of a one sheet drawing set. Once we get into multiple drawing sets, this could be sheet 1 of 100 if we had 100 sheets in there. So we want to make sure that you fill out all of the stuff that you have in here. And I'm going to pick OK. So there's Flange 1105. I can see it's not quite centered, so I would double click on this again, put my cursor in front of it, put a couple more spaces in there, and keep moving it until I get it centered. I just like to have those centered. All right, so I'm going to move that up just a bit. So I would come up here and save this as Flange 1105 or whatever you're going to name it. And I believe with that, I'm pretty much finished. I do want to add a date up here in my revision history block, add the current date to that. And then down here, you see these are not quite aligning, so you might have to put an extra space in there. It looks like there's 2 spaces in front of this. That looks better down in here. So the point of this is to pay attention to every detail that you have. That's what makes a great drawing. And so I'm going to drag this guy over a little bit, maybe drag this over a little bit, so I'm kind of balancing between my views and things, and just making my drawing look good. Now when you move stuff though, you have to remember that you may have to come in here and move this back like that. And if there's anything else that needs to be moved, you'll have to do that. Oh, I just realized I missed a GD&T symbol right up here. It is this guy. I'm going to pick, right click, continue. And what I want this one to be is a tolerance of position. There it is right there. And I want it to be diameter 0.028. Except I want a maximum material condition symbol in here. All right. And I want this one to be A and B for datums A and B. B. And that makes me say, well, where was datum B at? So I'm going to pick OK because I don't remember placing datum B. So I'm going to highlight that. And now I see datum B. Datum B is the center axis of this circle right here, or that hole that goes through right here. So the way we're going to put datum B on here is we're going to pick on this, and I'm going to actually pick on the landing, and I'm going to bring it down into here and just pick and make this B. All right. And pick OK. And now press escape. Now, this makes me think, well, I'm going to have to make some room for all of this. So I'm going to move this up on top. I'm going to straighten it. Then I'm going to pull it down, like down into there. And now I can see that this is going to be too crowded. So I'm going to pull this up and drag this up. So whenever you have a datum identifier and it's placed on the landing, like this one is right here, the landing of a dimension or a leader that's for a diameter, it would indicate that it is the center axis of this hole right there. All right, so now I'd want to save this, and I think I just about have it all finished. So I believe that's all I'm going to do on this one. So good luck with dimensioning the Flange 1105.